Hey there, Parker Reed here, and welcome to PR Media, your home for everything movies and music through my eyes. And with Season 2 of The Mandalorian on the way, I thought I'd review Season 1 of The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian is an American streaming television series created by Jon Favreau for Disney+. It premiered with the service's launch in November 2019 and is the first live-action series in the Star Wars franchise. It begins 5 years after the events of Return of the Jedi and stars Pedro Pascal as the title character, a lone bounty hunter who is hired to retrieve the child. So going into The Mandalorian, I had very low expectations because it's another Disney Star Wars adaptation, and we're coming off the backs of The Last Jedi and Solo, so I was like, okay, a live-action series basically starring Boba Fett, but not Boba Fett. This isn't going to be great, but whoa, was I surprised. I was surprised because of the simplicity of the show. It's basically like an old Clint Eastwood era like Western movie, but set in the Star Wars franchise, and stars a character you can only see his face once for about 30 seconds. So he's basically a faceless character, but he's incredibly charismatic and is more charismatic than pretty much anybody in the entire Disney trilogy series. And yes, let's get it out of the way. The surprise appearance of the child, aka Baby Yoda, absolutely set the world on fire. For about 6 months to a year after The Mandalorian Season 1 came out, you couldn't go anywhere without seeing his face at Target, at Kohl's, for memes on Facebook and Instagram. It was absolutely everywhere, and he's incredibly cute and incredibly powerful, and his chemistry with the Mandalorian was absolutely beautiful. Their entire father-son relationship is the backbone of the Mandalorian, and it's what I'm looking forward to seeing them explore in Season 2. Another aspect of the Mandalorian I really enjoy is the fact that every episode feels almost like a standalone thing that you can watch without having watched any of the others. Sure, you benefit heavily from watching the other episodes when you're viewing later ones, but you don't need to. It's just a fun space adventure, and one that really harkens back to like 60s, 70s Western shows where a bounty hunter goes into a city, he's looking for a bounty, and he ends up meeting people along the way. It's enjoyable, it's breezy, no episode is longer than about 45 minutes, and at only 8 episodes, you can get through this series about 4.5 hours. So you're in, you're out, it doesn't overstay its welcome, and that's a great aspect of The Mandalorian. Another positive thing they do in this show is that little member berries you throw in there, little references to Star Wars, they feel earned. Sure, they're a bit too apparent for me. We didn't need to go to Tatooine. We didn't need to see like every different species from the original trilogy. There's a lot of aliens out there. Let's see all of them. I'm sure all of them aren't just hanging out in the Outer Rim. But when they do callbacks, for the most part, they do them really well. I did like seeing the Jawas again and the Sand People. But when the one up-and-coming bounty hunter sitting exactly in Han Solo's seat in Episode 5, that was a little cringeworthy. So it doesn't do it perfectly, but it's Disney Star Wars at the end of the day, and if you watched Rogue One, you know what their intentions are. But there are negative aspects of The Mandalorian. One, it just doesn't feel as epic as other Star Wars franchises, and that's pretty much what we've grown accustomed to. But I don't view that as a negative, but some people do. It is very self-contained and very isolated. None of the characters that we know from the original trilogy, or even the sequel trilogy that were around back then, have shown up yet. I'm sure they will in Season 2, because now Disney's got the cash flowing, and they want to cash in on that. Gotta get new merch, gotta get new characters, new action figures to sell, recycle old characters with new outfits for the series. You know Luke Skywalker or somebody's going to show up eventually. Another aspect I didn't love that was really kind of a nitpick is how the whole Season 1 ends. They didn't go and check the ship to see if the guy was dead at the end with the Darksaber. You didn't go and check that. I feel like that's something he would have done, or just seen that he wasn't dead. I mean, if the Jawas knew and the Mandalorian didn't, that's a little bit cringeworthy, but you gotta set up Season 2. You can't kill off all the big baddies. So overall, I really enjoyed The Mandalorian Season 1. I've watched it completely through 4 times. I watched it through by myself when it came out, week by week, and then I watched it with 3 different friends, so that gave me excuses to keep rewatching this. And I'll probably rewatch it again after Season 2 comes out, binge the entire Season 1 and Season 2. But I really enjoyed the Season 1 of The Mandalorian, and I would give it a solid 9 out of 10. Sure, I've got some nitpicks with it, but overall it's one of my favorite shows that's come out in recent years, and Season 2 is right upon us. So let's get going watching Season 2 of The Mandalorian. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw here, you can check us out on Facebook or Instagram, and like, comment, and subscribe if you so choose. My name is Parker Reed. You've been watching PR Media. Keep supporting physical media, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.
Bounty hunting is a complicated profession. Don't you agree?